Rabbitry. Today we are here and we're getting ready to do some evaluating Netherland Dwarfs. And so if you're new to the breed, don't know what a Netherland Dwarf should look like, we have some good examples. We don't have exact perfection, but we do have some wonderful examples. So if you have any questions as we go, shoot them across, and I will try to answer them the best I can. So today, first of all, we've got Cletus here, who is one of my most wonderful rabbits. Absolutely love Cletus. He's such a part of the family. Come here, Bubba. Come here. I know. And so this is a chestnut, and he has been a little fussy today. But you can notice a Netherland Dwarf is just a wonderful breed, and I want to scoot him over just a little more so you can kind of see here. But he has a really great balance of body to the head, and you want to pose these rabbits kind of upright. You don't want to overpose them by any means and get the head too high up on the shoulder. You definitely do not want to be holding their heads down, and he's on one today because he hasn't gotten enough playtime. But he's going to be having playtime all afternoon. But you can tell here we have a decent ear. We would like to see the ears just a little more thicker on this guy. But in general, he's just a wonderful rabbit. He's produced some wonderful rabbits for us, some young kits as well. Come here, Bubba. You're just not cooperating today. He just doesn't want to cooperate. He'll do it. But very full shoulder, very good midsection all the way through the hindquarter. He does tend to be a little chopped here at the back end, just a tad, but not horrible. I really do just love his color. He's a great rabbit. He's got a nice wide head on him. His ears, are incredibly. They're actually not so rounded, or they're more rounded than they are when he gets posed up. He tends to get a little tense when he starts getting posed up, which is common for most of these Netherland Dwarfs. They are a very high-strung breed. They are a compact body type. You can make these guys look a lot like a Polish if you hold the heads down. That's the incorrect pose there. And you obviously do not want to get them too high up where you're seeing daylight here underneath their body. They should be very relaxed and natural pose for them. Just very nice. And he's just not wanting to sit still today. It's just not his day. Let me get another one, and we'll talk about that's probably going to hold a little bit better pose for us today, with Cletus being a little fussy, and it's his weekend off from showing, so he doesn't have anything to do but just be a rabbit this weekend. So let me grab another rabbit. We're going to go and grab a chocolate here next, and that way we can really do a little more evaluating based on that. Let me get kind of situated here. Come here, Cletus. Come here, Bubba. You a good boy. You did good jobs. You did good jobs. There you go. You can go play. There you go. Cletus is one of the most exciting rabbits that we have. Because he is just such a wonderful. He produces very, very pretty babies, and so that's why we have Cletus here. And he still actively shows all the time, so it's a lot of fun. Excuse me. Try not to cough in your face there. There we go. All right. So what we have next is a chocolate Netherland Dwarf. Now, chocolate is a very challenging color. There's a lot of variety that can happen with your chocolates. Come on, sweetheart. Hey, calm down. Calm down. There we go. Now we're calming down. Oh, you give me kisses, too. Okay. You're just being... What is up with you guys? Being fussies today. You're all camera shy. When you're not camera shy, I want to take pictures. But chocolate, again, this is one of our rabbits that we used over time here. Get the camera set up a little better. That we've used in our program And she tends to be a bit long in her body. She's not as compact as some of these other breeds. She tends to roll off quite fast over this top line here. And part of that is because she's posed a little bit too far back. But you can see this girl again, very camera shy in front of the camera and today, and man, they are just being fussy. Should have did this evening when they were a little more relaxed. But she's still a wonderful doe. She comes down. She's got a beautiful hind quarter on her. She's got a nice bold eye, chest there, good width of the chest. The ears are nice and thick, which is like we see. She could use just a tad more furring to those ears. But in general, she's just a sweetheart. Now, one thing you'll run into with a lot of chocolates or in some of these other colors that are not very common, or in particularly the lilacs and your dilutes and things, you'll start seeing some of those toenail issues, which you might get a light colored toenail, which is a DQ. So you disqualifier for showing. So when you're looking at your chocolates, pick the rabbits that you don't have any of those white toenails, because you don't want to be using and importing that trait into your chocolates. You'll notice that her color is very rich in color, very dark chocolate. We find that these rabbits that we have in our chocolates don't tend to be out of condition as much as some of the other chocolates that we've seen. We've worked this out and brought in some lines that just don't seem to molt so bad. But she'll pose up. She just being fussy here. She's a bigger girl. She's right on the line of 2.5 pounds, but she has good characteristics. I think I would like to see her head a little bit wider and just have more width, just a tad more width in that midsection for her. She's just a little narrow as compared to that hind quarter. But working with these guys every day is just a lot of fun. You just have to be patient with them. They have a very short attention span, and so they can get keyed up, especially when you're working with your hands around the face. So you try to relax the rabbit, and that's just going to come with time and handling. Again, just spending time with that rabbit. You can sort of, pet the back of their ears, kind of calm them down a little bit sometimes, and then some of them will just chill out and relax. She tends to be a little bit of a sloucher, but as you can see right there, she was to give you a look. Beautiful rabbit, though. Wonderful rabbit, and something that, and a color that you just don't see often. I'd like to see some of our Netherlands get more opportunity on the table to compete against other colors. We work in about every color in Netherland Dwarfs, so spending time with the rabbit is important, and developing your lines to where you're producing a quality Netherland Dwarf. There's a lot of different things out there right now. The fur length is kind of a big one that everybody is kind of on. They want. She's actually in molt right now. I'm thinking here. Yeah, she's got a little bit of molt going on. But that's to be expected for the time of year that we're in. Even with them indoors, you're still going to get some molts. But she's actually got excellent color for being in molt, and that's what we try to explain to people with these chocolates is the ones that molt out and they just really show it really poorly, have all those molt lines and stuff. We just don't see it in these, but you can still tell there's a little bit of a tinge there where you can see that the fur is just not quite as nice, not as good in good a condition, doesn't have quite the sheen that the rest of her body does, and that's because she's still molting out some of that. Just moving your hands with these guys is so important. Moving very slowly and being very patient if you're having a bad day, it's probably not a day to work with a Netherland Dwarf, because you're going to be easily frustrated, easily stressed. But work with these guys when you can. They're just incredible. And she's a little bit older. She's about 7.5, 8 months now. And so let me get you one that's a little bit younger and has actually got a very nice body type. And she's very typey, and she's still very young. This is Twix. This is Twix, and some of you may already know about Twix. Yep, you got an eye booger. Hand me your little stinker, and we'll get that out of your little eye booger. Yeah, you've been sleeping, huh? Okay. So this is Twix. Very nice junior doe. She is got a very nice wide head. The head is almost as wide as her shoulder, which is really awesome to see. We like to see that. Her ears could be are just a tad pointed, but not beyond what I'd like to see. And again, she's going to be a little fussy today. Like I say, everybody's just going to be fussy today. They want to go explore and try stuff out. So we set her up here, and you can see that width of head. You know, if I turn her this way, you can see that width of head that she has. Very nice balance of those ears compared to the eyes. She's got just a massive width of head, and it makes the front of her really appear nice and bold and strong, and then she's a little. I like this top line. In my opinion, she might be just a tad flat over that hip. I would like to see a little bit more roundness to her, but she's very full in that hindquarters. She's not chopped at all, and if she'll just cooperate, being a fussy doe this morning, and fussy gal, teenager, as she's coming up on 4 months old. And that's where we'll continue to work with her every day. And yeah, see that? You know who I am. Yes. I know you smell other bunnies, and your hormones are starting to kick in a little bit. So she's a little fussy. One of the problems you can also run into with Netherland Dwarfs, especially in these self colors like chocolate, black, blue, and lilac, is you can get a lot of scattered white hairs in there, which you really don't want in your chocolates. And you can breed that out, but it can take some time. She's fixing to mold out this fur here, her baby coat, but if I can get her to sit for me, and then she'll, come on, just relax. There you go. You know how to do this. And she's again wants to go check everything out. But you can see right there where she's sitting. She has the type that we really want in our chocolates. And so having a really nice chocolate is incredible. A lot of the rabbits that you'll see, there's so many of them that appear overweight, or they'll be right on the cutoff, and so a lot of times when you go to the show, judges will give you the benefit of the doubt a little bit with an ounce or so, but I've seen several of them that are way too heavy, judging by not only the size of our rabbits based on weight versus the size of, say, what we have seen win from time to time, which are clearly, compared to what we have, overweight. So, and this is a black otter. He's not he has some issues, and that's why I got him out today to show you. Because if I showed you perfect, really good, nice quality all the time, you would get this sense that everything is nice, and that's just not simply the case. This guy is a little narrow in his shoulder. You can see he has a kind of a nice wide taper here, and I'm going to see if I can try to show this to you so that you can get an idea of what I'm referring to. Apparently I can't get the camera out. There we go. And if I take and I show you the top visual down, you'll see that he's just a lot more narrow up here in the front, which gives him a narrow shoulder. It's not terrible, it's just not as what it needs to be. He has a really nice wide hindquarter though. His ears as well are a little bit, you don't want to get too much of this ear lacing inside the ear. I call it ear lacing, but you just really got to be careful about getting too much fur on those ears. He's got a nice short ear. They've got good thickness to them. Just a tad too much fur for my liking inside the ear. Still a quality guy. And let me get you all set back up here. But you'll start to see some of the problems that shoulder will create. You see how he tends to be more of a sloucher. I have to really hold him up, and he's just not as balanced as some of the other Netherlands that you see out there. You know, to get him into a decent pose, you still have a lot of space here underneath him, and he's just not very full to the table. He's still a wonderful guy with the right doe. He's great because his weight is great. He only weighs about 2.3 pounds, so he fits in nicely, and he's got a nice width of head about him compared to his shoulders. It's just his hindquarter is just a little too massive. I love the ear set on him. I love his width between the eyes. He just needs to be more balanced in the body, and that's something that we'll put him with a doe with an exceptional body and a decent head quality, and this will help produce another litter of really high quality rabbits, at least one or two for continued improvement. You're never going to get everywhere fast, and if you do, it'll be very hard to recreate it because it's just a challenge sometimes. You can take 2 show rabbits and they are beautiful rabbits and you'll never get a kit out of them, or you'll never get anything usable for further use or for showing. And you can take 2 rabbits that have good qualities about each of them that seem to balance each other very well, and then you get show rabbits. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have to keep trying. It can take years to get what you really want. So now we're going to take a look at another girl here. Now, excuse me. Silver martin, or rather sable martin in this case, is she lacks a little bit of bone. You can see in her front legs here. They're just not very. They're not as short and thick that we want. They're very thin and narrow. But she has a good body on her. She has a good body. Yes, you've been in the sleepy pile too, haven't you? Yeah. Yes, you has. You've been sleeping. But she has an overall decent body type. Now, one thing about this rabbit that I will talk about that I don't like is you can notice how the hindquarter kind of comes back towards the feet there at the base, and that she's very chopped in that hindquarter, and so we're going to have to do some hindquarter improvement to this color. Again, we're still working on this. This sable martin she's actually a little bit darker than I would want. She has a decent ear length. She has a decent head on her, but she just does not have the fullness of body. She needs some hindquarter work. One thing you got to be careful of is right here at the back of the neck. You can actually you'll feel if the rabbit becomes too short in that top line, they can actually get a bad spot in their spine here, which is a DQ as well. So you got to watch for some of these things, and that's where handling them, growing them out. She's actually not a bad brood doe, but she has shown, and she, for her variety, she has taken best opposite a couple of times, but definitely not a fantastic doe, and she's actually going into molt here right now. So she's getting ready to blow this coat. But a lot of people say, well, what's the difference between Sable Martin and Siamese Sable? Well, Siamese Sable is a self-based color, has a lot of the same kind of characteristics of this rabbit, except you'll have none of this white that you see here on the nose, on in the nostrils, on the jowl here under the chin. You won't have any markings here at the back of the neck as well. She's showing off her colors now, so you can see kind of the white ticking that goes down the back, and generally they just don't. I mean, she handles beautifully, and she's a sweet girl. She's just not the quality that we want just yet, but she's well there. Oh yeah, I know you want to check everything out. So one thing about the breed is you just got to be very patient. If you're going to get into Netherlands, one thing about Netherlands is you get so few litters in the Netherlands. It's hard to get a litter sometimes, and then when you do, it's only 1 to 2, sometimes 3, and that's if you don't get any peanuts, hippos, or DOAs, which is unfortunately quite common in some of these breeds, especially in your dwarfs. But a lot of people, just need to spend more time with them, really evaluate them well. A lot of the dwarfs that I see just have really poor ears, obviously, probably because the ears are less points than the rest of the rabbit. We pretty much stick to all of it. We want everything to be perfect, and that's what we love about Netherland is they are small rabbits. They only get to 2.5 pounds. I've got some brood does that are probably closer to 2 pounds 10 ounces, 2 pounds 12. Probably there's 2 or 3 of them that are bigger than that. But they are broody stock. I love this little chocolate, and she has the potential to be incredibly wonderful. She's just at a stage right now that she's still growing. There's still parts of her that are just not as finished right now, and that'll come with age. Some of these Netherlands, keep in mind, especially these does, these girls, they won't really reach full quality of what they're going to look like till 7, 8 months. And I've even seen them go even a year before they're fully grown. So, and she's getting fussy. She wants to go back and take a nap because we've been playing with her, and yeah, she's giving me the eye. Yeah, she's giving me the eye, but she's looking and giving you a cute picture there. So, again, just really spend time working with the rabbits, and above all, be very patient with the rabbit. Let them get used to the handling, and it's not just in the posing. You want to flip your rabbit over as well, and really get it used to being picked up, flipped over. I mean, I've got a youngster right now. I'll go grab him real quick, and then I'll just give you an example of what that looks like, what these guys look like at about 3 weeks. And we start handling them. Come on, relax, baby. There you go. And now she's going to give us a picture there of what she wants to look like. And there she is. She's such a pretty girl. And when she'll just calm down and relax a little bit. And some of that too is I'm working on a table that normally they aren't on, but that doesn't, they're on a different table at the shows, so, but she's generally on really good behavior, and especially when they understand what you're trying to do with them, and You can get that head up just a tad more. But I love the look of this girl. She's an absolutely beautiful chocolate. I'll see if I can turn her so you can kind of see her from the front. Hey, calm down. You're almost done. And there you can kind of see her. She pulled her back foot back. There we go. Now you're looking gorgeous. So that is Twix. And so those of you that have followed us, y'all know about Twix. And we've got 2 or 3 more just like her that we are using and working with. So let me go grab go grab Cletus 2.0, and we'll show you Cletus 2.0. Okay, Cletus 2.0. Cletus 2.0 is now just a tad over 3 weeks, and you can just see the fluff ball of this guy. One thing, and I'm not even sure it's a guy yet, I don't even want to tell you, I have such terrible eyes, and we all around here do. But I'm not going to work with him too much here, this one too much. But Cletus 2.0 is kind of got the mentality of daddy. We want to be fussy, but this is where practice and handling are so important. And so when I pose him, he's starting to figure out what I'm trying, or this one, I keep saying he, but I'm still working with this one to get it to realize what I'm trying to do. And some of that is just picking up the rabbit 2 to 3 times a day when I'm walking by. I'll just stop, pick up the rabbit. But I'm trying to gauge how I feel about his quality of type. Now, his ears, I absolutely love the ear on this guy. He's got a nice width of that head, beautiful width of that head. He's got a lot of fluff right now just because he's just a youngster. And we're being fussy like dad, but we can run fast and we do all the fun things that Netherlands do. But getting these guys to pose at an early age is just a level of patience. And then you can start to kind of see here what he's going to look like. Now, what this guy will look like in 3 months, what he'll look like in 6 months, we won't know. We won't know for a while. But the main thing is that we're learning, and that takes time, patience, and I do this usually 2 to sometimes 3 times a day. And it's not for very long. I only work with them for a few minutes at a time, but it's just to get the rabbit used to being worked with, especially around the head and the face, so that they're not afraid of it. And that's something you have to do with Netherland Dwarf. I love the rabbit so far. I believe this rabbit's going to have a beautiful top line. Oh, thank you. I know, rabbit kisses are fun. I think we're going to have a very nice, beautiful ear. I think we're just going to have to wait on those ears. I do believe this is probably going to be one of the shortest eared Netherlands that we've produced. Definitely going to be in, I think, the neighborhood of an inch on these guys. But you can kind of visually see, and I usually by 3 weeks have them really doing quite well. But one of the things that I will say is by 4 weeks, oh, I know, kisses, oh my goodnesses, getting kisses, I know, yeah, you can give kisses, yeah, you're just a silly little thing, you be fussies, Just calm down. All right. So this is how to really work with them, and you just kind of relaxingly doing it. We're not forcing the rabbit to do this, and you should never force your rabbit per se to do this. I mean, they should naturally want to pose. Sometimes you get a little sloucher, and the slouchers are generally indicative of a poor shoulder. This one I'm really pleased with. We still have some work yet to do with the training, but we are seeing some positives here, and we're curious. Being 3 weeks old and just getting a fresh set of legs under you, you can kind of visually start to see how this rabbit is built, and then of course the changes that they undergo will be different for you than what they go through for us. And as you can see, he's sitting there. He's a very beautiful little chestnut. I'm really excited to see him do that. And then generally once I get them to pose like I want them to, I'll let them relax a little bit. We're going to do it one more time, and then I'll just let them go back to playing or sleeping or whatever they're doing. And then I'll come back later in the day and I'll do this whole process again. But it's just a matter of taking some patience and teaching them what you're wanting them to do, in essence. And so if you can do that, you'll have some success. And you have to start at a young age with these Netherlands. You can't go and find an adult and then try to teach it new tricks like that. Some of them will naturally pose in their cage, but they haven't been handled enough to be able to get them to pose on the table on command. And that's really what you want, because for anybody to be able to evaluate your Netherlands, they're going to have to put their hands on it. They're also going to have to be able to work with the rabbit. But this is Cletus 2.0 at 3 weeks, and we've tried to keep people updated on as we continue to improve with our Netherland Dwarfs. Don't forget to visit our website or check us out on all the media everywhere. You can subscribe to the channel. Like I say, we're going to try to do about one of these a week on several breeds. Whether like this week we just did Netherland Dwarf. We may get into some Himalayans next week, which will be a lot of fun. So you can see what Himalayans look like. We've got some mini lobs. We got silver fox. We have Thriana. We've got dwarf Odo. We've got some Rex, Holland lops. I mean, we got French lop too. So there's a lot of different breeds that we can show you. Hey, calm down. We're gonna be good. I'll let you play for a little bit, and now we want to go play. So like I say, if you're interested in some of these breeds, do some research, find out what fits you. Not all rabbits fit everybody. Some breeds didn't work for us much. We love the tans personality-wise, but they just weren't a good fit for us. But Netherland Dwarf has just been a lot of fun to get to work with, and we've had a lot of success with, and a lot of that is attributed to a lot of time and a lot of work as we continue to work with these Netherland Dwarfs every day and get to have fun with them and enjoy them, because they are all family to us, whether or not they are a show rabbit or what. They are all family to us. They each one is just so incredibly important to what we're wanting to accomplish, and they're great. If you can find the right ones with good temperament, you can do so many things. So with that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Ask any questions that you have regarding Netherland Dwarfs or rabbits in general, and we'll catch you on the next one.